So I actually have a little bit of an issue, Markquis. Your Twitter handle is Mr. New York City, but you left to go to high school in New Jersey
Yeah.
to play there. So what's up with that? Like, we can't be. I'm a New York guy. What do we make of that? You're in Mr. New York City, but you played in Jersey.
No, man, I spent most of my years in New York. I mean, I'm from New York. Grew up playing in playgrounds like Rucker Park and Dykeman. But my senior year, I wanted to further my career and play against national talent. So that's why I went to St. Pat's with Christian Vanis and, just try to get better over there. But it's all love back home, still miss New York City. I still love New York.
Yeah, I mean, you only get a certain amount for your handle anyway, so you couldn't put Miss New York City, but went to high school in New Jersey. So I got it. It's all good. So speaking of those parks, right? So would you say a lot of guys play it safe? Would you say there's an element, and you talked about Dykeman and Rucker, which are like iconic. Would you say there's a little bit of like show in your game of the, feeding into the crowd and being able to take that big shot and stuff like that?
For sure. Definitely playing in those parks led me to my confidence, in game. Every gym I'm in feels like a playground. So I just try to, have fun, still show my uniqueness through the gift of basketball and just, play with that excitement because I don't like watching boring games, when it's on. So, when people come watch me play, I want them to see an exciting, fun game.
So in off nights, you're not watching a lot of the Princeton offense. Usually watching guys go up and down.
Yeah, I'm watching guys hoop, man. I like guys like Steph and John Morant and one of those.
Yeah. So the other night I tweeted the clip. I was like, this guy's something. You took a three against Oklahoma State and turned around halfway while it was about to go in. You knew it was going down. You pulled up in transition from like 30 from deep. How much there's a line, I guess, from Jadakiss. I'm not cocky, I'm confident. But would you say it's a little bit of both there? Like some people are like, ooh, that's like that guy's cocky, or is it just confidence? Like, and how important is that in your game to be the guy willing to take the big shot?
It's very important. You know what you practice is what happens in the game. So I practice hours and hours on different shots and from that range, and after reps, when a shot is good. So once I released that ball, it felt good out of my hands. I put the three up because that's just what my mental preparation was feeling. But that's very important in my game. I've been shooting long threes since I was a child. And just over the years, I just kept expanding my range and building my range. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to half court before it hit the rim. So, I mean, that's something. At least you were hustling back on D if you missed.
Yeah, for sure.
But the way you were shooting, you weren't missing much the other night. So it was very, very impressive. You stayed home. There's a story going around. You stayed home during Christmas break, which is pretty impressive. And a lot of guys say like bowl is life. You're out. You were having a good point of a season up to that point. What motivated you to stay home? Because you could still get shots up in New York City. Like, where did you look to be like, you know what? No, I got to dedicate myself to coming back, staying at home. Like, how did that come about? Literally locking yourself in the gym for a couple of days.
So we as student athletes, you get a break, a winter break, to go home for Christmas. It was a 5-day break. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I have the opportunity to go home and do a couple things that I don't want to do. Probably eat bad, not practice as much as I want to, or I could just stay here, stay locked in the gym, just grind by myself. And my birthday is on Christmas,
Oh
so
yeah.
my intuition was just like, man, just lock in on your birthday, man. You'll have your fun. You'll reap the rewards later. So I told the coaching staff, I'm like, man, I'm just gonna stay here, lock in. We live like 20 steps away from the gym, so it was just a no-brainer. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna put in over 1,000 shots per day and just work on my game. And my brother was like, man, there's not a lot of people out there that's doing what you're doing. You're gonna reap the benefits sooner or later. And right away, December 31st, we played West Virginia, and I had 23 and 10. So
Yeah. No, it's definitely paying off. The only thing is, how did the balance go with the conversations with family? Because they could guilt trip you into doing stuff.
No, my family was right behind me. They supported it right away because they knew that, that's first and that's important to me. So it was like, that's a good idea. We don't want you to come back. My brother's like, we don't want you to come back. Stay in the gym, work on your game, work on your craft because this is also your last year and you want to, leave everything out on the table for a good year. So.
Yeah, my family says they don't want me at holidays, but that's a different reason. Like I'm not shooting in the gym. It's just a different reason. But I guess me and you are alike for, so don't worry about it. All right, so you're a 5'8" guard, right? And a ton of people will try to label that and be like, oh yeah, he's got a ton of heart, or like, look at this guy, he's undersized, and look at him battle. On the flip side, like, what are the advantages of being a smaller guard?
A lot of advantages, man. Just when I knew I wasn't gonna grow anymore, I tried to use that to my advantage. And I knew that, as a smaller guard, you have to have a high basketball IQ. You have to be a leader. You have to play, fierce, ferocious. You have to do the little things that, other, guards won't do, which is diving on the floor, take a couple charges, just bring that type of energy that the team needs. And being 5'8", it's a stigma that most guards can't shoot coming out of New York. So me and my dad used to just we used to just shoot from half court, before and after practice, before and after school, and that led to my habits till now in college shooting, and now it's being watched all over the world. So just once I knew that I wasn't gonna be the biggest guy out there, I try to use my heart, my leadership, and my IQ to my advantage.
Yeah. What's the next one? All right, so we talked a little bit about it in New York City. You went to Bishop Loughlin for a couple of years. I played in that same league. I've played at Loughlin. That gym, to
Okay.
me, they should do a documentary on. It's the
Yeah.
craziest gym I've ever seen. We'll float some pictures in here. It's dark. It's on the 5th floor. It's tight. The cheerleaders, one time they yell at the refs. I've seen they're stomping the whole time, like the step team. It's electric. I've always seen something crazy happen in that gym. The last time I was there, the ball bounced off the rim, off the shot clock, and hit a bar and came down against Loughlin. The whole gym went nuts. Nobody said a word. So there's always something going on. So what is the craziest thing you've seen at a home game in Loughlin, or for the people who don't know about it, like what makes that environment so crazy?
Man, it's just when you go to Laughlin, it's a different type of energy because it's closed in, like you said, it's the on the 5th floor. It's a small gym, so you hear every little thing possible. The fans are great, the school is great, but the craziest experience I've ever had at Laughlin was probably when we played St. Raymond's and Isaiah Washington, aka Jelly Fam Dons, played was playing, and it was a head-to-head matchup. He came over to my school, and there was a lot of talk, a lot of buzz going on, like who's going to win, who's going to be Mr. New York City that day, and we just went at it, for the whole game, and it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and just the whole city came out to see us. Carmelo, Brandon Jennings. So it was beautiful. So that was probably the craziest experience.
Yeah, I think if you can play in those type of environments, like college, it's almost like, yeah, it's bigger and it's on TV, but it's like, man, I've been doing, I played in hostile environments my whole life. Like, there's nothing that could shake you. Do you feel that too? Like, there's no, that hand is pretty solid.
Yeah, if you could survive in New York, you could survive anywhere.
Yeah, I've heard some bad chants, man. I've heard some wild ones. So it's definitely entertaining. I feel you on that. So 3 years at Arkansas Little Rock, that was your only Division I offer. Is there an element of you kind of having like a screw you attitude every time you go out there? Like, because a lot of people say, oh, nobody believed in me. Like, really kind of nobody believed in you except one. So, now you're looking at honors in the Big 12, and like none of these guys looked at you. So how much do you carry with you of like proving everybody wrong?
Definitely, I have a chip on my shoulder every time I step on a court because I still remember the times where, I didn't have no offers or nobody was looking at me. And in those moments when I was at my lowest, I stood in the gym, and I kept faith that, one day that all this hard work would pay off and one day I'll be at a Power 5 conference. And just those 3 years just laid the foundation that I have now of just being a good person, being a good man, but most importantly, my work ethic. So when I got to K State, I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to prove that I could play at this level, no matter my size, no matter what my structure may look like. And I still grind. Like I'm still that kid that had no offers. So no matter the success that I'm having right now or the success I may have in the future, I still remember, hey, you was once that kid that had no offers. And I try to, wake up with that mindset of you gotta go get it.
And then the last one, so what's your favorite thing playing for Coach Tang?
Man, everything. Like every day you get a gem or a jewel from him. He's a great teacher, but most importantly, he's a God-fearing man. Like myself, I try to take so many different things that he does and say, and implement them in my life. His storytelling is like no other. He tells stories about the experiences that he had and that he's seen and been a part of, and he tries to help us through that and through the game of basketball. He's been key in my development. Just you know, just allowing it. Like at first, we used to bump head to head because just the way I play is not a typical style for a point guard, and we prayed over each other to allow God to combine both of our passions and the way we see the game of basketball. And after that prayer, we just been seeing eye to eye, and just he's a great teacher, man. He believes in you. You spoke him up just now, and man, that's my guy. I'll do
Yeah.
anything for him. I love him.
I'll ask Keyontae this too, but you can't give him all the credit. So the video comes out the other night of him dancing, and it's all arms. Can you judge those dances? Does he know his legs work? Does this guy know you can move? What do we got? You got to give me a grade on that.
Yeah, that's probably the funniest dance that he does, man. But I give him a solid 7.5 on that
Okay.
dance.
All right. The crowd was loving it. Social media was loving it. But yeah, I mean, he literally didn't move his legs. So it's interesting. But listen, I'll let you get out of here. Good luck Saturday. It's been really great talking to you. I'll keep bumping you up. You keep hitting those big shots. I'll keep retweeting them. So
Thank you,
take it easy. All right, Markquis.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot. What's up, Coach?
How we doing?
What's going on?
Man, I'm doing well.
Sorry you called. They told me it was a different order. I didn't know you were going to catch me kind of making fun of your dance moves, but
No, it's all right. Hey, I told somebody and I said if y'all keep making fun of my dance moves after every game, that means we winning.
That's
so I'm
fair.
okay with it.
That's a good point.
I'm all right with it.
That's a good point. Yeah. So I had that on the list. So that's perfect. All right. So first year coach, right? You guys are 15-1, picked dead last in the Big 12 coming in, completely new roster. You bring back two guys. You were an assistant for 19 years. Probably chomping at the bit to finally get, the job. What's the game plan or what's the plan in the offseason that you lay out to yourself of like, this is how I'm going to build a program?
Well, we had to elevate the talent, right? Because this league is, it's incredible, right? And so knowing our goal was to find guys who could help you win games in the Big 12. And, that was our focus. And so we were going to find guys who had won at the high school level and guys that won at the college level. Because guys who have won, they understand that you have to sacrifice something to win. And so that was the whole focus. And we had to get the right, there was some guys that chose not to come that we recruited hard, spent a lot of time on. And I told our staff all the time, it's okay to miss on a good one, and they might beat you twice a year. You can't miss and take the wrong one. They beat you every day. Okay. And so we don't have dudes that beat us every day. We got really great guys who care about winning. They care about each other. They're able to put the team before themselves. And that's what we was looking for.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about this league being loaded. It truly is. Like Texas Tech and Baylor are 0-4 in the league. I'd put them above a bunch of different power conference teams in certain leagues. So it really is a war. I guess this is kind of like a fact or fiction question, because I grew up on the Big East back when the Big East was getting 8-9 teams. Where do you put it as the benefits of playing in a league every night where you're going to war, or the old fable of like, oh, they're going to be burnt out, because some of those Big East teams, like it was Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and at the end of the year, it was such a strain that at the end, a lot of experts and people were like, oh, you know what? They can't get to the final. They can't win the championship. I'm not saying, compare yourself directly to those aspirations, but the league in general, do you look at it as like, we're being tested every night, it's a great thing, or there's an element of we could get burnt out a little bit?
No, I think there's definitely some elements of both of that we are being tested every night. It's a great thing because you have lots of opportunities for quality wins, and none of your losses are bad losses. Okay, so that helps you to get a chance to get in the tournament. As a staff, we have to be wise in how we practice, right? Because everybody got to play the games, but how we practice, how we travel, the extra things that we do that will allow our guys to be the freshest they can be when we get to March. And so that comes into the management of things. And having been able to do it for 19 years in this league, I felt that's why I could hit the ground running, because I've been through it so many times. I wasn't experiencing a new league.
Okay, yeah. So you touched on 19 years at Baylor, right? And you obviously won a national title there. You won a national title there in 2021. I actually thought that 2012 team was one of my favorites. You just ran into Kentucky. Like I picked them to win the whole thing. You've had some great ones. So now, it's your first year and you obviously thought you were going to be successful. How do you balance, because you've had the experience of winning the title, how do you balance trickling in the information of teaching your guys how to win a title without putting all the pressure on them? So at Baylor, it was, you guys were predicted to win the title. Like it was basically a failure if you didn't win the title that year. That's where you were. You were number one, number two all season. But now, you've overachieved to an extent to the experts, 15-1. How do you trickle in that information to those guys? Like, maybe guys celebrating a little bit of their success too early right now, or, hey, showing up late to a shoot around. Like, hey, this is how you do it. Like, you change every element of what you're doing to try to go win a title without putting all the pressure on guys where they start to feel that and like, oh, and get a little scared of that as well.
Yeah, we feel like the difference between expectation and reality, right? What reality is, that gap between there, that's pressure. That's where pressure is applied, right? And so we're trying to the reality is that we do have a team that on any given night we can beat anybody. The expectation is that we go 1-0 every day in everything that we do, and not think about down the road. So tonight it's about eating the right food and going to bed at the right time. So getting up tomorrow morning will be get up and have a good breakfast and come in early and get your body moving so that you can prepare to win. And so that's how we deal with that aspect of it. But we are very open with our guys that we have an opportunity. We have a team that can win a Big 12 championship. And if you win a Big 12 championship, that means you have a team that can win a national championship. Now, does that mean that we're not putting any pressure on ourselves, because our expectation is that every day we go 1-0. And that's how we eliminate the pressure part.
Okay. A couple more. So I just talked to Markquis Nowell. How important is it to have a guy like that who wants to take the big shot?
Oh, it is so important to have a point guard, right? And a point guard who has that kind of confidence, and that kind of confidence is born out of hard work, not out of hype. Okay. And my man, he didn't go home for Christmas. Right?
Yeah, we talked about here. That was crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys say it, not a lot of guys do it. That's crazy.
Every morning he's in shooting. Every night he's in shooting. I mean, he is working he loves the game of basketball, right? He's addicted to the game of basketball. I have to make him take. Last night he's texting me. We're watching the TCU game. We're texting back and forth as we're watching the game, right? Like, I mean, he's fully absorbed by it. And as a coach, when you don't have to coach the ball, right, and you can coach the other four guys, it makes the game so much easier for you. And so, man, I am blessed to have that young fella. I absolutely love him. Heck, I'd go to war with him anytime, and I got his back 100% in anything.
Yeah. He might test that a little bit. Is there any element of him not thinking that anything's a bad he's not afraid to shoot anything. When you go through film, does he have like they talk about full green light. Does he have the full green light? Or in film, are you kind of like, hey, we could work a little bit better for this one. We could work a little bit better for that one.
Yeah, we're helping him learn how to manage the game, right? And great shooters always feel they can make any shot. It's just time and score, understanding the flow of the game, and he's willing to learn, right? He's willing to learn it. And so, I tell him all the time, like, I take a 1-a-day vitamin, and so he gets 1 vitamin a day that I get to take. If in the game I feel he's giving me my vitamin, then I'll be like, hey, I have my vitamin for this game. But some of that stuff as a fan, and players make plays, man, and that's this game is about the players. It's not about the coaches. And if you nitpick every little thing, then you hamstring your guys. But he's also willing to come and watch film and watch every practice and say, okay, what do you think about this? What do you think? And he's learning about managing the game, and he's getting his teammates involved. And I mean, he's doing all the things that you want a great leader to do.
Yeah, I totally feel that. Keyontae Johnson has been terrific. Everything that happened with him, crazy that, that he's back on the court, like having to wait that long, 2-year layoff. What makes him special for a guy to go through all that? Because some guys might just be like, you know what? Yeah, tough break or get out of shape. Like, what really is special about that young man that he's able to do this and compete at such a high level?
Yeah, he's another guy that's really addicted to the game of basketball. I mean, he really loves to play the game, and some guys are trying to get someplace because of what they get from it. He just wants to compete at the highest level, and I'm so thankful that he picked us and his family trust us to help in this part of the journey. And I've coached some guys who are really, really good, and he's as good as anybody I've ever coached. And he deserves an opportunity to play in the NBA.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting there too. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's been able to do. So, the last one, your name has been floated at the Texas job. I know well enough to not ask you about another school. I know you're not going to answer on that school. My question is, do you think the media has done, or there's an element to the media of doing a bad job of trying to put the next guy in the seat before no one's even vacated the seat? You looked at it last year with St. Peter's, like they're floating Holloway right away, and that's a distraction. You guys are 15-1. Like, it's not fair to your kids. They read the paper, you read the paper, you have to comment on that. It's like, can't I just have some success of a team that's overachieving and is making a run towards a Final Four without you guys already putting me in another position? Like, don't you think the media is making that tough on schools?
Yeah, with everything we have to deal with, the transfer portal and NIL and all the other distractions that kids have, to then when they have this kind of success, and it's the players that did it, right? They had this kind of success, that you would try to take away any of that by adding another distraction. That's just a shame. And so I'm trying to keep this focused on our players and the success that they've had. And this is about Kansas State and our fan base, and this wonderful university with a rich history and tradition, and these terrific players. And I'm thankful that you're doing stories on our players and not on the things that don't matter or distract.
Yeah, no, I do. I think it's bogus. Like, and it to an element too. It's like, yeah, everybody kind of knew Holloway had moved himself up to a job. But I don't see much of a difference with Texas and Kansas State in that level of a job. So why are we going to go ask the guy? Like, it's a tough balance to do. So, but on a happier note, I picked Kansas State football as a long shot at 18-1 to win that conference. So I got home with that one. I'll be honest, I didn't pick you guys to win the Big 12. But I can get in on that now. So it would be a hell of a year in Manhattan. if you had both banners hanging. So I do wish you luck, and obviously enjoy it Saturday. It's gonna, and every game now is gonna be entertaining. So I'm rooting for you, Coach. I appreciate you giving the time. Captivating personality. I like the dance moves. Just, your legs work. Like move the legs. You can't just be over top.
No. The thing is, it is it's a dance, a school dance. Like,
okay.
So they show me, but the whole student body is doing it in the stands also. So this is what I'm gonna do after we win the next, when we win the next home game, whichever that is. I'm not making a prediction, but the next time I'm gonna jump in the stands with the students and do it so everybody can see it. What I mean? Because I used to be a pretty good dancer back in the day. I understand my hair's gotten grayer and the joints a little bit stiffer, but I used to be able to cut a rug. So
yeah, no, I feel you. I grew up in the New York City clubs. I know how it is. Like hey, listen. Sometimes you gotta either have the great face, the good line, or be a good dancer. I didn't have the good line. I didn't have the great looks. I went with the dancing. So I'm not, saying. I know my options. So I feel you.
Hey man, this has been awesome. Hey, thank you very much for you guys' coverage, all you do for college athletics, and thank you for choosing the Spotlight K-State in our basketball program. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go Cats.
Coach. We'll stay in touch. All right, so let's start here. How much fun has this year been? You guys were picked dead last in the polls. Not a lot of guys returning. Like, how much fun has this been to be where you guys are?
It's been real fun just seeing all our work just finally showing and showcasing. Coach always preached when we out there, just give the fans what they came to see and just have fun. That's the moral of the story, really. We just all go out there and everything, just have freedom, really. Just have freedom to have fun. And Coach Tang allow us. So it's been real fun so far.
There's a clip I love from The Last Dance where Michael Jordan's in Cleveland. They said the Bulls never had a chance. And he went to the media, and one guy picked Cleveland to win in 3. Another guy picked Cleveland to win in 4. Another guy picked Cleveland to win in 5. So he went to all 3 of them. He's like, we took care of you. We took care of you. He's like, now I'm going to take care of you in game 5.
Yeah.
The famous shot. Do you have like a little bit of that disrespect fueling you?
Yeah, I mean, we like every day we come in the locker room, we have the polls up there where I said we was last place in the conference, and we use that as motivation. So, I mean, that's really just, we take it one game at a time. We don't like look ahead. We just try to win the day, as Coach Tang was saying. And I feel like that's what we've been doing. We've been taking one game at a time, just enjoying the moment and really just going out there and having fun.
So coming in as a transfer is kind of like the norm. Now you see it way more than you did, and especially guys not having to sit out and different things like that. So, and there was not a lot of guys coming back on this roster. I think like 2 guys. So was there a conversation between you and Markquis of coming in being like, yeah, you are new here, but we need you to be a leader? Did you guys have that kind of conversation, or how did you expect that to go?
Just on my visit, Markquis was my host. So, I mean, I was just talking to Coach Tang. He was telling me his vision with the team and how he's seen everything. And you can just understand, like, a person, when they tell you something, you can know when it's real. And when Coach Tang was telling me everything, just seemed more genuine. And then when I finally came on my visit, Markquis, me and him came to the gym probably like around 9, 10 p.m. And we just talked for a few minutes. Just like both of us, we had the same goals. And for your point guard to have the same goals as you and just tell he's a winner, you want your point guard to be a winner and be the leader. So he was a leader, just showing me, like, keeping me up to date, just keeping me with it real. Like, he was just telling me everything, what was going on, how it could benefit me and how I would help him as a player and help the team out. And I mean, I had to came in, Coach Tang wanted me to come in to be a leader, not one of those transfers that's just watching and not like making an impact. So I feel like just coming here, just an easy decision for me to make.
Yeah, for sure. So, obviously, people familiar with your background, the crazy situation at Florida, obviously. And we've seen that, recently now the whole world's talking about DeMar Hamlin. What went through your mind when you saw that? Like, I saw you comment on it a little bit, but I mean, crazy situation,
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't see it like how everybody else seen it. I mean,
right.
When I finally like realized what happened, I mean, it just triggers you back to the moment when I was in the same place, just knowing how his family felt in that situation. And I mean, just trying to, just prayers, like all you can do is right now, just keep faith in God and just prayed for better days. I mean, I had a feeling that he was gonna get through it. Just keeping updates. I was keeping updates on it when it was posting on social media, and thank God that he's fine right now. But when it was definitely, it definitely triggered me. I mean, it's like it hit home really, just knowing that you've been in that situation and knowing how hard it's gonna be for him to try to like get back where he wanted to be. But
Yeah, it's
the
got to be
best thing
crazy.
is his safety.
It's got to be crazy too, because it puts such a like things in perspective of like, yeah, you know, I want to play in the NBA, I want to play at a high level in college, but something like this happens, and all that is completely out the window.
Yeah.
Crazy how that works. So, the other part of that too, I know it's difficult, obviously, to talk about, but the 2-year layoff, it looked like you wanted to play last year. Florida went against that. I'm not asking you kind of to comment on that, but how hard was that balance of trusting the doctors, but also being like, I'm ready to go, you know, or you do a different test. I could run this far. I'm not getting winded, like, but also trusting the doctors because it was a crazy thing to go through.
I mean, all the doctors and my parents were telling me to take small, baby steps. Don't try to leap ahead and try to rush myself into getting back to playing basketball. They always tell me like put faith in God. If God wants me back out there, He's gonna show and He's gonna help me lead the way. And that's basically, I mean, it's been a lot of tough times just hearing doctor say I'm not gonna be cleared. But after I just stopped stressing, just try to keep praying, and then God finally answered the prayers and He put me in a situation where I'm at right now.
Yeah. So you talk about that situation you're in right now, 18.4 points a game, 6.9 rebounds, shooting 40 from three, after a 2-year layoff. I know you're a hell of a player. You were all SEC before this, but with that 2-year layoff, like, is your level of play even surprising you a little bit coming back? Like just how high and how great you're playing.
Yes and no. I mean, yes, because I know a lot of people that take 2 years off. What they end up doing, they try to get the field back. So I feel like just for me to still contribute at a high level and being a big piece for the team, and just like getting the trust from everybody on the team. Like everybody trusts me. Everybody feel comfortable when I'm on the court. So they bring me confidence, and I feel like just having the right people around you, right players, bringing that confidence to you, it helps you showcase your skills and your talent better. And I feel like this team is doing that, and I'm just feeding off their energy and their confidence.
The road environments, like there's always been that mantra and that blanket statement. Oh, it's difficult to win on the road. And I know there's a lot of elements to go into that, but like, why is that? Why is it so difficult to win on the road? Do you think the refs are a little skewed towards the home? Is it the travel teams putting you? I've heard stories. They put you in a locker room, turn up the heat. Like what makes it so difficult on the road? Because it obviously is difficult, but is there, like, from somebody who hasn't played Division I or guys who just watch and make that statement, oh, it's tough to win on the road. Like what really goes into being so difficult to win on the road?
I'll say probably the fan base plays a big part. I mean, coming to warm up, they're already there on the court, trying to do your routine, and they nagging at you, just talking. And I mean, some players might feed into it, some players might just ignore them. It's just depending on what type of person you are. So I say the fan base, and then it's just trying to like the food they might give us, or you know what I mean, shoot around. You go to shoot around. Some balls might be flat. Some balls might have knots in them. You know what I'm saying? Just different. The lights can be brighter than it was at shoot around at the game time. It's just different places, different environment. They all have different strategies of things.
You respect that? Like that's what makes the college rivalry so great. Yeah, like it's almost like all's fair, right? Like nothing's off the table.
Yeah, it makes it more fun because it's like, oh, that's their plan of trying to even make us lose, and we overcame that and just stay together and just showing that like what type of team we are. So
yeah. So I talked to Markquis. He told a little bit about Coach Tang having great stories. What's been the best story you've heard, or the funniest, or the one that connected to you the most?
His best story, I mean, telling us how they won the national championship. I mean, everybody just locked down. I mean, that's why he's one of a good coach right now. We all just take his words and we try to feed off of it. I mean, he's a coach that has a national championship, and he was an associate head coach there too. It wasn't like he was just one of the assistant coaches. He played a big part. So his words are meaningful to us. So when he telling the stories, the whole team is engaged with it because like we know it's a real story. It's not no coaches out here just making up a story, right, or they try to put it on. Even like all his stuff is just genuine, and you know he's real. He don't really argue with us. He don't cuss at us or anything like that. So you know when he's serious and you know when he's not.
Can you tell guys now with with a 15-1 start, like again, you were picked dead last in the preseason. So at the beginning of the year, if guys were like, we're going to the Final Four, like that's great, you believe in yourselves, but it's probably a lofty, like unrealistic comparison. Now it's starting to get some legs. 15-1, top of the Big 12. The Big 12 has had the 2 last national champions, toughest league in the country. They're talking about everybody getting there. Are you sensing guys like now getting a little taste of success and starting to pick his brain a little bit? Like, I want, how do we get there? How do we get to the next level? Like, are guys feeding into that? Like, you can almost crave a championship?
I mean, we say that every day, like Final Four is what we want to get to. Like our main goals right now is to win the whole Big 12. And then after that, our next goal is going to be make it to the tournament and get the Final Four. So we've been saying that from day one. We stopped saying it for a while once it started getting to the season just to lock in more. But we still, like, every once in a while we'll hear, like, Final Four, Final Four. And I feel like since the whole team right now, we playing good basketball and everybody just feel good. Nobody's down. Nobody's hating on each other. Like, I might come out of the game, Taki will come in, and I'll tell him, like, just keep his energy up, like, yo, you playing a big part, like, you getting the biggest charge for us. The defensive stop that nobody really going to see. I know you're not scoring how you want to score, but on the defensive end, you're helping us and getting the big possession. So, and then when Coach Tang tell us, like, when Coach Tang, after every game, Coach Tang bring out the spotlight players. You feel me? Like, that just, like, I feel like that just give us, like, energy, like, okay, I might not have been scoring, but the coach see what I'm doing that's helping the team out. And I feel like that's why we all contribute as a team and get along the best way.
To flip off of that, though, I mean, this league is brutal, and Baylor finally just got their first conference win. They're 1-4 or 1-3. I don't think they're necessarily one of the worst. I think they'd be better than a lot.
Yeah, not for sure.
But in this league, you'd be crazy not to say you could lose 2 in a row. So, and success gives everybody that great environment. You talk about coming out of the game. It's way easy when we're 15-1. You drop 2 in a row. What's the plan, as you talked about, of a leader being like, hey, it's not the end of the world. This is how we're going to combat this.
Yeah, I mean, my experience at Florida, just losing 2 in a row, you got to come in. You can't, when you lose one, you can't just dwell on that game because your next game, you might have a game Saturday, play Tuesday. So it comes around fast. So you just have to just watch film, learn from that game, and just go ahead and move on. You play everybody twice. So if we lose on the first time, we get it again the second time. You know? So we just go in. That's what come win the day is a big thing for us. We go in and just try to win the whole day, just win, go 1-0 for the day. That's what we say, go 1-0. And if we go 1-0, I mean, I feel like no team can try to compete with us.
No, for sure. So, listen, man, I think what you've done and to combat this, I think a lot of guys might shut it down. I just want to say, like, as a fan and somebody who's watched it, I remember that day, obviously, with Florida, and what you're doing now is awesome. It's a success story, no matter how this season turns out. So as somebody who loves the game and obviously loves comeback stories, I really do commend you on what you're doing. For the kids out there, I guess, watching, or people going through different things, like, you don't realize who you motivate. What would be the message, like what you would say, like, hey, Keyontae Johnson's story, or what Keyontae Johnson can give back to, like, somebody going through that, or just kind of like a life lesson in general,
So, I mean, basically just knowing the right circle you have around you, just have positive energy. You don't want to have the circle where it's always one person that's going to keep you down or have negative energy. Just have the right people around you, because the right people going to keep it real with you and love you. And so I feel like for me, I just had my circle is small. I mean, I talk to the same people every day. I don't change up. So I feel like I had the right circle around me, and they had the right faith in me, which gained me to gain more faith as well. So I feel like that just helped. Just pray. I mean, God won't put you in a situation where you won't overcome anything. So he does everything for a reason. So I just pray and just have the right people around you to keep your attitude and your demeanor up.
Yeah. I'll let you out of here on a laugh. So I know Markquis is your boy. Obviously, he hosted you. You got teammates. But let's be honest. He takes that shot and turns away, like, pretty cocky, pretty confident. If you were on the opposing side, you think he's getting a hard foul down the lane, or like he would be like,
oh yeah, nah, for sure. I'm gonna have to hit him in the stomach one time, or when he try to turn around, grab his jersey, something.
That's fine, but it's better to have those guys on your team than against it. That's how it always is.
Yeah, I haven't even seen him do it, like, in person.
Yeah, he was just feeling it.
Every time you do it, I'm either crashing to get a rebound or I just miss it. So I haven't, like, actually seen him turn around and did it yet. But people just keep telling me.
Yeah, that might be a hard lesson in practice. You catch them doing practice next time down. So, but listen, you guys are boys. I don't expect anybody to go at each other the way things are going. So, like I said, Keyontae, it's been phenomenal. I really do wish you success. Stay in touch. And really do wish you well.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. Go K-State, man. Stay well.
Okay. Ema.
Yes. The football team, I helped the football team win a championship.
Hey, stay with us. So
we'll cut this clip, but I bet on them. So that my wallet was worried about it. So now, that helps. So I need skin in the game.
Yes,
so I'll place my Kansas State Final Four wager and we'll celebrate together.
Yes, sir. Now for sure. Let me know.
All right, pal. Take it easy.
See you.